We've done a lot of work so far in this series, and now it's time to start wrapping things up. In today's video we are going to look at some additional tips and tricks you can use to build out a show, and make it appear the best that it can possibly be. Let's start off with reusing a previous scene in order to make a new one. To illustrate this, let's use scene 1 from our current build, and duplicate it to reuse in scene 3. Within the media pool containing our scene 1 timeline, right-click on it, and choose Duplicate Timeline. Click twice on the copied scene to rename it to scene 3. Then, move scene 3 into the associated bin within the media pool. Once opened, you'll see an exact replica of the previous scene. Let's replace the original Boo Crew trio with a new video. Just like the first time around. Double-click the video, and then drag down the audio onto the timeline. We will get rid of the first audio, and move this track into place. Next, open this into the Fusion page. Find the branch containing the first Boo Crew trio video, and drag the new video from the media pool on top of the existing media node. Click OK to overwrite. And remember to add a value to the Hold Last Frame property. When we return to the edit page, the correct trio should now be synced up with the audio.
Here, oh, Halloween's the perfect scene to spread some fun and fear.
Having a few scenes within your show that can be reused can save you some time. If you watch my previous shows carefully, you'll see how often I use this to complete a show. Don't be afraid to do this. Just think of it as reusing a set piece for your stage. When to place an asset in your show is just as important as how to place it. One way we can determine when something should occur is through the use of markers. Placing markers for when something should occur is usually done in conjunction with the beat or lyric of a song. When evaluating an audio track to determine when events should occur, I like to disable all video tracks entirely and focus solely on what's happening in the audio. Expanding the audio track on the edit page to make the waveforms more visible can also help with visualizing when something could happen. While listening to the audio, determine when you would like something to occur, and then using the edit page toolbar, place a marker by selecting this icon. If you wish, you can double-click on the marker and give it a label, or change the color. Giving markers a label seems to only be temporary, and I'm not sure why. Don't spend too much time thinking of label names for a marker, since they are likely to disappear later. Use them as more of a way to mark the start and end of an event you want to happen in your show. Make sure that you don't have any of the tracks selected when placing markers. That will place the marker on the track itself, and while there is a use case for that, it's not what we are covering at this moment. For our purpose, we want the markers to be placed at the top of the timeline. Doing this will make them available within the Fusion page when we want to know what frame number the marker was placed on. By opening the Keyframes pane in Fusion and zooming into the viewer, we can see all of the keyframes laid out in a row. Hovering over any of the markers will show the exact frame number we want an event to start at. We can also navigate to that frame number on the edit page by placing the playhead over the marker and then opening the Fusion page. This will put us at the same frame number as the marker, and we can continue to build our show from there. Spotlights are a fun effect that can add to the ambience of a scene, so let's create a simple one for this. Resolve does have a built-in spotlight effect, but it's part of the 3D rendering capabilities, and can be taxing on your machine. So, we will create something far more simple but equally effective for this part of our display. Let's remove our previous ghosts from the first scene, because we are going to be building something completely different for this one. Now let's find our Boo Crew trio. For this, we will need to add a black background behind the ghosts to start this off. So let's move them over to the right. Then, connect the black background node to the tree limb behind them. Reduce the alpha property in the inspector so that the original background can still be seen, but now it's just darker than it once was. To fill out the rest of the sections, you can either copy the background node to the remaining 2 limbs, or you can create a vine that connects the original node to the remaining limbs. I'm using a vine here simply to remind you that if you ever have an asset that will need to be visible across all 3 sections, creating a vine will be your best option. To add the spotlight look, bring down an ellipse mask and connect it to the merge node that your background is connected to. For sizing, we can line up this spotlight for the Boo crew easier by selecting the merge node for their branch and putting it into one of the preview panes. Size the mask appropriately to frame out the trio. Now, with the merge node selected, choose Settings in the inspector and click on the Apply Mask inverted checkbox. This will give us that simple spotlight effect for this display, making it appear as though the Boo crew and background are being lit by a spotlight. To improve the look, add a soft edge to the ellipse mask. To finish this up, we will add one more spotlight to the right house tree limb, where we will feature other assets over the course of this scene. Dealing with green screen footage is a common component of building home projection shows. Resolve has multiple ways to handle it, but I'll show you my preferred way to remove green screen backgrounds from videos. To start, choose a frame where you would like your green screen footage to begin playing. I'll use the first marker in this example. Then open the Fusion page. Let's create a new branch on our right house tree limb for this particular video we're going to add. Bring your video with the green screen into the nodes pane to start the branch, and bring the footage into the first preview pane. Since we don't want this video to show up until frame 250, let's use the inspector and adjust the hold first frame property until we find a point where the video will just be starting at this frame number in our timeline. Now let's get rid of the green screen. With the media node selected, bring up the search menu with Ctrl plus spacebar on your keyboard. Then, search for Delta Keyer. Ensure they are connected, and then bring the Delta Keyer node into the first preview pane. Within the inspector, click and drag the dropper icon over the color you want to remove. Our green screen is now gone, but there is some remnants around the edges of these leaves. We can fix that by zooming in on the preview pane, and using the inspector, choose the matte option, and adjust the threshold slider. There are a lot of adjustments you can make to fine-tune this, so don't be afraid to experiment in order to get the right look. Now, just add your transform node, and connect everything together. Then make your adjustments to fit this to your show. Let's cover some bonus tips while we are here. We can contain these falling leaves into our spotlight area by simply connecting the same mask to the merge node that our leaves video is connected to. We could leave this as it is, and perhaps add a drop shadow to it, in order to provide some separation between the leaves and the building. Or, for an alternative idea, we could have every asset in that spotlight appear as a shadow instead. For that, let's add a black background node after our Delta Keyer. Then, plug in the Delta Keyer node to the blue arrow of the background node, so that we turn our video asset into a mask. Reduce the alpha of the background node just a bit to give it that shadow look, but not too much so we still maintain a good contrast. That looks pretty good. For the rest of this tutorial, we will continue on with a shadow look for each of the assets we apply. Since this video has been on the longer side, let's take a break here, and in the next video, we will go over some more tricks you can use, plus we will finish up by combining all of our scenes into one final cohesive show.